Okay, let's move on to Pittsburgh. Pat Narduzzi, of course, the head coach there, 9-4 a year ago. Which, yeah, it felt like kind of a weird year for Pitt. Although in another way, it was also sort of exactly Pitt. Kind of what we've come to expect from them is compete at or near the top of the ACC, but rarely actually be quite good enough to win it. It's going to look a little different this year. They brought in Phil Dracovic, who was at Boston College for a couple years and Notre Dame a
Yes,
couple
sir.
years. And by the way, Phil Dracovic, to put a pin in how to put a point on how old he actually is, he was in the same recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. So he has been in college for a while. Coming to Pittsburgh, hopefully we'll see a little bit better offense from them after taking a step back last year. Um, yeah, we remember some of the infamous quotes from a year ago where Narduzzi was a little upset with the way his offense played the year before when they had a Heisman finalist at quarterback and the Bletnikoff winner, and they didn't run the ball well enough. So anyway, um, be that as it may, he does an excellent job of bringing in defensive talent, particularly to fit his system.
It does.
They they don't do a whole lot of things. Um, they don't do a whole lot of different things on defense, but they always have a good defensive line. They always have like big physical corners. They do an excellent job of playing physically on defense and playing well and getting more out of their defensive talent than you would expect based on recruiting rankings. Is it just more of the same from Pitt? Like, do you kind of expect the same thing again this year?
I think so. I think so. He's okay. So they lose. Is it Israel Abanikanda?
Yes,
I love
the
that
running
guy's
back.
name.
Yeah.
They lost like the running back. He was a stud. He was a really
Mm-hmm.
good running back a year ago. He's gone. But I think Pitt is more of a program. Like they're not really reliant on just one individual guy. I think that's kind of how the coach prefers it. You mentioned some of the comments that he made that we laughed at, right? Because how could we be throwing the ball all over the place and have the best receiver in all of football and be happy? Like it's they're more he they're more. Pitt is a program where like them as a whole is just greater than the parts, right? Like when you put everything together, it's just somehow just better. It just magically is better. The defense is good. It's always salty, right? They have a fairly it's an interesting schedule. You meant like they avoid Clemson, which I think is always it's great if you can avoid Clemson. They do catch Florida State, but that's a home game for them. They maybe keep that one close. Notre Dame, you have to go to Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I like Pitt to go over. I think they
Okay.
keep doing what they've been doing. I know we laugh at Narduzzi and he makes some interesting comments. By the way, he's a really great quote right now. Like this guy's
Yeah.
throwing out some heat, even towards was it Dion that he kind of went after last
Yeah.
week, where he was really kind of chirping, or maybe it was just maybe college football, like the whole NIL thing, everything in general. That's kind of the kind of guy that he seems to be, but they're good. Like there's just Pitt is just sneaky good. They're solid, and they're a really good place as a program. They're kind of like the Kentucky of the ACC. You could kind of
Hmm.
say like kind of similar, maybe similar coaching styles, except they win 9 games, and Kentucky doesn't. So yeah, no, I like Pitt. I think they'll have another good year.
Yeah, I would have maybe compared them to like the old Wisconsin teams, like
I like that. I like
because he
that.
has a clear system. Like they do have a
Yes,
good floor. Like I disagree with him on a lot of things just based on like the explosiveness on offense and that type of thing. And I think that their ceiling is probably hampered by it. But part of the reason it works out is because he does raise that floor because they have a clear system that he recruits to and that he coaches by. And
no
it
question.
works. It works to a point. Like it works for what they have been.
Mhm.
I think I'm with you. Like their line is at 6.5 or 7. To
Yeah,
me, that just feels a little too low for Pitt. And if you're looking at their schedule, they play Cincinnati, and
sure.
I'm not nearly as high on Cincinnati as I have been, quite frankly, with Luke Fickle as their coach. Like they now have Scott Satterfield. I love that they play West Virginia again this year. Like we need the backyard brawl every year. Make it happen.
Hmm.
That was so much fun last year to basically open up the season. And yeah, I mean we at some point it's a broken record, but the whole middle of the ACC, like it's there for the taking. I don't know that I expect Pitt to be third in the ACC or fourth, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be a top half ACC team and probably closer to 4 than to 7. So, yeah, to me, that feels like they're winning at least 7 games. And I don't know how high their ceiling is, but they're a solid team. And yeah, 6.5 is just too low. Incredible disrespect towards Pat Narduzzi with that line.
It was very low. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think that's something that you can just kind of go and make some easy money on. Pitt, Narduzzi, guys like that and programs like that, they kind of they become they have their own identity, right? Like you mentioned the running game and you kind of compared them to like Wisconsin. I think that's really good. I like just they're going to be really physical. Like they're going to try to run the ball at you. They're not going to really be super tricky. Like it's not going to be super. Yeah, it's not no Mickey Mouse offense at all. Like
Yeah.
not a whole lot of fun. Maybe not even a whole lot of points, but they will be more physical than you. And you can beat a lot of teams, especially in the ACC. You can beat a lot of these teams by being more physical than them, and that's what Pitt is trying to do. And I respect it. And yeah, we'll bet on that one.
Yeah, and by the way, just one note on Phil Dracovic. He is from Pittsburgh. Like, that's where he grew up.
Sure.
And didn't have a great year last year, but Boston College's offensive line was absolute garbage a year ago. So I would expect a nice bounce back from him just based on having a more competent program and a little better protection at Pitt. Like, I do think that's actually a pretty decent pickup for them. And he likes to run the ball. I think he's going to fit their system pretty well. So just something to think about.
I like it.